Hello, welcome to Chess Prime. As part of this video, we are going to see one of the new feature which got introduced in JDK 25 that's called as a primitive types which will work in patterns of instance and switch cases. So that we are going to see it. So before going to see this JDK 25 feature, till JDK 24, the primitive types like int, dow, le, double, lowercase. So these primitive types will not work in case of instance of and switch pattern matching. But from JDK 25 onwards, these primitive types and wrapper classes or object references will work together in case of pattern matchings like instance of and switch case. So this is one of the major feature which got introduced in JDK 25. Let's let me show you one of the simple examples so how to understand this primitive types will work in case of pattern matching like instance and switch cases. So let me show you an example. So now I have opened IntelliJ. I'm going to create a simple class called pattern match demo. So like I said, right, so I am into JDK 25. So our IntelliJ is pointing to JDK 25 feature. So I'm going to use JDK 25 features called void main. So what is the purpose of this void main? So I'm not going to write public static void main. So I'm going to use directly a shortcut or simple method which will support only in JDK 25 void main. And if you want to test it, you can test it. So this feature will work and you can able to see the output. So this is one of the new feature which got introduced in JDK 25. So you can use directly without writing public static void main. Let me remove this one. We don't want this one. The first feature what I'm going to use it. So I'm going to declare a variable object val equal to 12. So this one I'm going to use in one of the uh, if condition with the help of integer. So let me write this one is integer. So first let me use the primitive type, so that's more important. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to print a simple addition on top of this I plus 10. So what is the output? So that we are going to see what we're trying to do here. We are not doing any conversion. We are trying to use the instance on top of the integer primitive type. So if you try the same thing in case of JDK 24, it will not work, but it will work only in JDK 25. So this is the new feature which got introduced. So let me fix these compilation issues and let me run and we'll see the output. So if you see, right, so the addition is happened directly on the object reference, but we have done the conversion here into primitive data type. So this is one of the major feature which got introduced in JDK 25. So if you want to apply or if you want to use the wrapper class, you can use it. Either primitive data type or wrapper class, both will work in JDK 25, whereas in JDK 24 only object references or wrapper classes will work, primitive data types will not work. So that's the main feature. Okay, now let me revert it so it will work. So this is the way instance will work with primitive data types. Now let me write another object myval and let me give here 12.5. This variable I'm going to use as part of a switch case. So in the switch case, I don't want to do any conversion here like toString. I can pass the value directly, and inside the switch case I'm going to declare some of the cases, and inside the case I'm going to use the primitive data types, and then I can display the value. Say for instance, now I'm going to use this value as integer addition of my value, and similarly I'm going to declare a double or float. So you can declare whichever is possible values. Double, you can name it as a D, and declare D. So this is one of the case, but one thing we have to write here. Let me integer, and this one is double. So the main thing we can see here, there's a compilation issue because we have to pass the default one. In case if it is not matching to anyone, so we have to write the default value as it is. So that's the one of the major feature. So you can use like integer, double, float, whatever, so it will work. So now let me run this one. Let me see what we are going to get it. So if you see here, right, so let me put it down little bit. So this is the main example. We have to understand the object value 12.5 I'm passing, and the output it's considering as a double, and I'm adding the 10 value. So we can see that 12 plus 10 22.5. So that's the way the conversion is happening, though we are not using any wrapper classes, but it will work with a primitive data type. But you can use both in case if you want to use the double, you can use, but it will work for both wrapper classes and primitive data types together. So that is the main feature which got introduced in JDK 25. So the pattern matching will work for the primitive data types as well, whereas in case of till JDK 24 only it will work for the wrapper classes, it will not work for the primitive data type. So this is the major feature which got introduced, and in case of instance you can use both primitive data types, or else you can use the wrapper classes. In case of switch also you can use the primitive and wrapper classes or object reference as well. So I think this is one of the major feature we have covered as part of this video. If you like the video, you can subscribe to the channel for more subsequent updates, and thank you so much.